Okay, I'm back. I was trying to make all of these videos at once, but there's so much to tell about Byron Pryor, and as I upload them, I'm trying to click them private, but I sort of saw some people snatch them before I was all done them. I suspect it's Dirty Dickie Dean and Dana Durford. They have a habit of working all night. If it is, fuck you, Dana. Same with you, Dirty Dickie Dean. I'm surprised that you're not in jail yet. With what the conversation I had with the mayor of Sylvan Lake and Constable Reed of the RCMP a couple of times. But anyway, all that said, back to Byron Pryor. Byron Pryor, because of his work on the drilling rigs, wound up working all over the world. I remember him telling me about working down in East Africa and stuff. And one of the things he confessed to and put in writing was he used to come back to Newfoundland quite a bit, you know, drilling rigs and all that, but he was a mule for a drug dealer. He used to, apparently, he didn't elaborate too much, but he did put it in writing. He called himself a mule. He said he even got caught, how he would apparently lug the drugs or whatever back to Newfoundland or whatever the hell he was up to. I didn't ask too many questions, as didn't care. I'm not a drug dealer. I'm not a biker. I'm a biker. I'm a motorcyclist, but I'm not a one percenter, and I'm not a drug dealer. I smoke too many cigarettes, but I barely drink. Don't smoke dope. Don't give a shit what people say to you otherwise. The most offensive thing is to call me a diddler, because the thing I treasure most in the world is children. All children. You harm a child in front of me, and I'll bury you in the yard. But anyway, that said, Byron had confessed to being a mule, and he put it in writing. I don't judge a man. You can't say he's a bad fellow because he did that. He regretted it and put it in writing and confessed to it. What happened to him as he was a child, he had no control over. What he opted to do on certain days, well, he can answer to his own conscience about that. But anyway, he was a mule, and he was caught, and the fellow that got him off was the very fellow he complains about, T. Alex Hickman. I remember him saying that. But anyway, when the Ocean Ranger went down, a cover-up ensued, and T. Alex Hickman, and I think Derek Green, the same judge that I wrote the defense and counterclaim for Byron Pryor for, I think they were all on the board, but I don't want to swear to this. I'm just recalling memory now. But anyway, they had an investigation as to the sinking of the Ocean Ranger, and they got Byron Pryor to come back from East Africa or wherever he was drilling to teach a safety course on the drilling rigs. And as I said, Andrew Crosby ran Crosby's Offshore. Halliburton, as you know, was run by Dick Cheney and the boys, and George Bush, everybody, George H.W. Bush, Senior. We all know about worldwide conspiracies and big money. I'm trying to zero in on Byron Pryor. But I'd have to speak about Barry Backrack and Indians and the mob and everything, because there's a lot more to Newfoundland than first meets the eye. Because it's a rock in the middle of the ocean, it's always been a way station for pirates, and it's never stopped, and probably the most evil place on the planet, quite possibly, is St. Pierre de Miquelon, which has an airport. I think Byron said it's got a population of about 80 people and got a hotel with 60 rooms, $300 a night. And Al Capone's hat still hangs in the bar. Anyway, it's a way station for pirates, always has been, always will be. There's a writer, he's a professor of criminology or something down St. Mary's University, just come out with a book talking about how bad organized crime is in Canada. And trust that it's just the tip of the iceberg. The most organized crime in Canada is the RCMP, for God's sake. But St. Pierre de Miquelon, it still to this day belongs to France, not Canada. Now it's just offshore of Newfoundland, not too far from Grand Banks, Grand Bank, Newfoundland, which where Brian Pryor comes from apparently. And I don't know if anybody's traveled an airplane, but like say when you're leaving Bermuda and coming to America, if you clear customs, Yankee customs, getting on the plane out of Bermuda, you walk off at the other end. Same thing here in Canada. You know, you clear American customs, say at Halifax or whatever, you just walk off the other end. Anyway, St. Pierre de Miquelon, because it belongs to France, has an international airport. Apparently, according to Byron Pryor, all contraband, or a lot of contraband, not all, but a lot of contraband goes by way of that airport. I took an interest in that because everybody knows I've been bounty hunting Whitey Bulger. I'm the guy with all the wiretap tapes of the mob. My taxi driver friend found them in the garbage back in the 90s. Has to do with the Winter Hill game. Whitey Bulger is the most wanted on the FBI list other than Bin Laden, and everybody knew I was dogging him just because it seemed like fun. Whitey Bulger's brother was the head of the President of the Senate, and I was the guy with the wiretap tapes, and nobody would do anything with him, so I thought I'd go get Whitey. Now I was talking to a cop in Newfoundland by the name of Jim Case. Calls himself Rare Spade in his email. He was harassing Byron Pryor, and I was coming back at Jim Case. And, whatever prosecutors were torturing Byron Pryor on a particular day. Oh, I got one on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think about it. Anyway, Byron Pryor was telling me many things about Newfoundland, and he was a treasure trove to me as far as politics goes, because I've been out of Canada for 20 years and don't give a damn about politicians anyway. I never voted in my life. The only reason I ran for Parliament, I ran for public office 4 times, is to keep my name in the public record so the bastards wouldn't shoot me. And then while I was doing that, I was trying to raise some hell and make law enforcement finally act within the scope of their employment with regards to a lot of things I was concerned about, but mainly my family. Byron Pryor is worried about his family. All right. Anyway, when he was teaching about the Ocean Ranger, I only got minutes here, he saw by the pictures of the Ocean Ranger, because he'd done time in the rigs, that apparently the place where they hook the chains to the, I think he calls them stanchions, the big things in the rig that go down in the water, where they hook the chains to, had been relocated further up the stanchions, for the want of a better word. And apparently it was so it could get a better angle on the bottom to keep the rig stabilized. And apparently the Halliburton people had extra stuff on top of the rig, so it was lower in the water, like containers and stuff like that. Apparently they do the research or whatever, and they go test it, the container. They said, I don't pretend to know this stuff. But by the way he said the chains were on the stanchions, it told him that she was drilling in too shallow water for her design. I think he said 30 meters too shallow water. So when they had that big storm, according to him, that story that they come up with, that investigation about the guy not paying attention, window broke, and stuff get in and short-circuited the thing, and the thing flipped over.